Where you from, Cash? You don't bang, Cash? Don't lie to me, my nigga. You look real familiar, Cash. Where your people stay at, my nigga? Take your shirt off, cuz. Let me see if you got any ink on you, my nigga. Your pants, too, cuz. I ain't no dummy. You might have a thigh tat. You from out of town, cuz? I heard that line before, my nigga. Vegas, huh, cuz? Well, do me a favor, cuz. Call your mama up.
What it is, man, I appreciate y'all for being back tapped into this Off-Rip TV. I ain't gonna tell y'all already know what to do, man. So look, we're gonna jump into this reaction video with a Crip from California, man. He call himself Chill, but his YouTube page is 16 to Life. So hey, y'all gonna tap into that, man, if y'all wanna see the full thing of this. So yeah. But he said how he had to come down here to Denver, right? Because he was on a run. And as he was down there, he had got into it with a blood dude, and he had to get the nigga a 3-piece spicy. So let's get into this, man.
I'm actually in Aurora, which is like maybe, it's a city right next to Denver, right? So I'm out there for a while, maybe a couple days. I get a hold of my brother and I ask him if he could drive my car out to Denver, Denver is maybe about 6 or 8 hours. I don't remember exactly how much from Billings, Montana. So now he brings my car out there. So now, like I said, now this car, I got a fresh paint job on it. I got it like candy paint green. I got it trimmed in gold, Actually, so I get the car painted in California. Now, when I get the car painted, I wanted to put some Daytons on it, but they said, oh, the Daytons, they had to order them, and it would be maybe about 3 or 4 days, and I had to get back to Montana. So I bought some rims that resembled Daytons. They was called Roasters. They was with the gold, spin-offs and all that old type of stuff. So now, due to the fact that this car looks the way it is, and I'm on the run for this attempted murder, I'm extremely skeptical about having a weapon in the car, because I know that, being in California, now keep in mind, this is 1993. So being in California at that time, if you was black driving in anything that had rims on it and looked like you was selling drugs, which I was, the police is supposed to pull you over,
Real talk though, like if you black, shit down here, they still doing that. If you black driving the old school on some rims, you gonna get bumped up. And then once they figure out who you is, if you in a gang, they gonna stop you every time just to see if you got something on you, right? A burner, shoe, some weed, anything. So my thing is, I ain't saying that this was his case, because like he said, he was on the run and all that, but my thing is man, if you're gonna drive an old school, you better make sure you all the way legit. You better have your license, your registration, your insurance, all that, man, because you're gonna get stopped, homie, straight up, especially if it's on some rims, beating, knocking, and all that.
A lot of times in California, they would even ask me for a driver's license. They would immediately tell me to get out and sit on the curb. So that had me extremely skeptical, because I don't want to have a gun in the car. Then they find the gun, then take me downtown, and I'm already on the run for this attempted murder, right? So I'm driving around out there now. It's summertime. And also keep in mind, this is 1993. I had been in Billings. I had pretty much been living in Billings since 89. And so it's extremely different out there, in Aurora. Aurora had a much bigger black population. They had a lot of soul food restaurants. So, it's summertime, man. I'm riding around in this car. It's 1993. I bump it. I got the sounds, And so, yeah, it's good out there, Now, around that time, I'd heard the rapper DJ Quick. He came out with a song called Just Like Compton, and he was naming all these other hoods, all these other states that he had went to, basically giving them their props, saying that, even though I'm from Compton, it's a lot of different states that's wild, they gang banging or whatever. He mentioned Denver, but he also mentioned it in kind of a dissing way. I guess he was out there, he got some stuff with some dudes, and, they threw beer on him or whatever. But man, Denver, they was off the chain, man. They was out there gang banging. I believe 1993 was called the Summer of Violence.
Yeah, man, everybody done heard this DJ Quick story. Like me personally, man, I done heard a gang of different stories. Well, really like two sides, right? Like I heard he threw something at somebody and he took off running down Colfax and the homies chased him, right? And then I heard he threw something at somebody and the homies grabbed him off stage and then they whooped him. So I don't know, man. Like I said, I wasn't around back then, so I can't really confirm where that happened. But yeah, 1993 was the summer of violence down here in Denver, Colorado.
And so it was a lot of time now. it was a lot of times I would see dudes out there, sometimes I would see a lot of Crips out there with a blue rag in their right pocket and it's supposed to be in their left. So it was, the gang banging stuff was just getting out there. You had some dudes who really didn't know what they was doing. But at the same time, man, it was off the chain. The violence was off the chain out there. And one thing I noticed about out there, it seemed like you had more random violence on people who was not gang members. I remember that the owner of a skateboard shop got shot and killed driving down the street. Some lady got robbed for her purse. I think there was a shooting at a park called City Park, and a little boy or something got hit in the head.
So like I said, gang banging down here started in 1986. So he said he came down here in 93, which was like about 7 years into this cripping then. So I could probably see that like homies would probably just try to find their way, right? But yeah, it was cracking though, man. Like he said, it was a gang of random violence. Like I heard about somebody getting smoked for a different Bronco jacket back then.
So it was extremely wild, and then they had some hoods out there. It was a lot of hoods out there from LA. It was a lot of dudes out there from LA. I ran across some Harlem 30s, some Crenshaw Mafias, some Rolling 60s, some Raymonds, they used to call California the land. Hey man, you from the land, you from the land. But you also had some hometown gangs. Two gangs specifically that I remember is Park Hill Bloods. They was out there notorious. They was doing their stuff. And I believe it was like some 33rd Street, West 33rd Street or something like that. Trades or something, So you also had several hometown gangs, somewhat beefing with the LA gang. So it was definitely off the chain, man.
What he was meaning to say was the East Side Trey Gangsta Crips. They was one of the first Crip sets down here in Denver, Colorado. Besides the Rolling 30 Gangsta Crips, then you got the Trey Gangsta Crips. And then, yeah, you got the Park Hill Bloods. Well, you got the Crenshaw Mafias down there in Park Hill. And then back then in the 90s, like you said, it was a gang of Cali gangs out here too. Because if you think about it, it was a group of Cali people coming to Denver because they knew that there was gangs out here. So they were trying to set up shop, trying to start their own little gangs down here, and they was bringing stuff from down there, bringing it down here. They was trying to get shit off on everything.
And then one thing I liked about being out there also, so yeah, let me go back to this. Like I said, it was really off the chain, man. The violence, they was out there gang banging, shooting. So I believe at one point it was a pastor out there, and he said that God told him, I believe it was to climb on top of his church and stay there. He was not coming down until the gangs stopped killing each other. We all know how that turned out. God must have told him maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, hey man, you know what? Go on down and get you a sandwich and take you a rest. Because he brought his ass off the top of that roof, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, man, one thing I liked about being out there, like I say, I'm coming from Billings, Montana, basically. And now my cousin is staying out there, Chris Booty. And yeah, that's his real name. My cousin at the time, Chris, is probably about 26, 27. And so now he didn't found out all these different clubs out there. So damn near every night from Sunday to Sunday, it's a different club that's popping. Some of the names that I remember, you had a club called Bernard's. You had a club called Grenadines. You had a club called Chez Celeste. Some of these clubs was 25 and older. And so you had to be dressed in a certain attire. And, if you wasn't 25, they wouldn't let you in. Sometimes I would manage to weasel my way in with a fake ID or just be dressed, nice. And they would let me in, right? And some of those clubs was cool because they kept a lot of the BS down that you would find at the younger clubs. Like I say, I believe that club Grenadine was either in the 5 points or somewhere near the 5 points. And it was kind of wild and off the hook, right?
Damn, from Sunday to Sunday? I didn't even know that the city was cracking like that back then. On everything I didn't. And then you got to think about it. He on the run for an attempted murder, so he's out from Sunday to Sunday. Boy, I'd have been put up somewhere, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, this is a cold nigga, man. And shit, he named more clubs than I done. Man, probably because I ain't no clubbing type of person, right? But shit, he done been in more clubs out here than I done been. The 5 points is on the east side of Denver. They still got clubs down there right now to this day. Man, we done whooped so many people down there coming out them clubs, straight up.
So, like I say, man, I'm riding around in this green car. I think I may find a picture and put it up for you guys, and I don't got a gun with me because I don't want to get pulled over and they find the gun. So, I'm outside club I believe it was Shea Chalette's, which is down in Denver, man. I never forget, it was some gang banging looking dudes. Now, of course, I used to do it a lot, what people call parking lot pimping, hang out in the parking lot. I'm in this car, with this nice paint job, these rims, these music. I'd pull a lot of girls like that just hanging out, man. I remember 3 dudes walked up to me, man. Well, actually 3 dudes was walking. One dude separated from the crowd. He came in from, now I got the windows down. It's me and my cousin Chris Booty. He came in from Chris Booty's side and peeked up in the window. He said, "Hey man, you ever been carjacked?" I said, "Man, if you don't get your buster ass away from the car," I reached up under the seat. I'm pump faking. I ain't got no gun up in there. And then I hear one of his homies in the background say, "Oh man, don't worry about it, man. Them ain't no Daytons. Come on, come on." So yeah, man, I was mad, I was mad, man. And then it was right after that happened, my cousin said, "Oh, right there, right there, right there." You heard somebody got hit in the jaw and they started squabbing out there. Boom, bing, 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 boop, bop, boop, bop, bop. A lot of Crips and Bloods, and all of a sudden, boom, 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 people started shooting. So we got up out of there, man. Like I say, Denver was wild and off the chain.
Me, it sounded like both of you niggas was pump faking, because that situation could have got real sticky. Because you reach under the seat, right? Acting like you about to get the thing. And you don't got one. So if he had it, he could have just started spraying. And then he walk up to the car talking about you ever been carjacked without no gun. So you walk up to somebody's car without no burner out talking about you ever been carjacked. What if he did have the heat? He could have just easily, nigga, just domed you, homie. Straight up. So I feel like both of you niggas was pump faking, man. But then again, sometimes it be your adrenaline running, right? So like your first thoughts is, you feel me? Try to act like you got something. But man, hey, that's how that should be cracking, man. At these clubs, I swear to God, homie, fights crack off, boom, and then niggas get the busting, right? And it's kind of like a death trap, because it ain't really too many places where you can go. I done seen this happen so many times.
So now me, one night I'm chilling, man. I'm laid up, I got a girl over out in, I didn't met somewhere. We laid up chilling, but me, man, I'm being greedy. It's maybe about 1 or 2 in the morning. So I tell the girl, I said, "Hold on, I said, I have to go pick up my Aunt Shirley, may she rest in peace. I have to go pick my Aunt Shirley up from bingo, which was a lie. What I wanted to do, it was a club. I think the name of it was Bernard's, if I'm not mistaken. It was a club in the next city over from from Aurora, known as Montbello. And this was a big old giant club, and they let out around 2 or whatever time it was, and there would be a lot of beautiful women out there, and I'd go out there and I'd hang out, and I'd hang out and stuff, and I'd pull a lot of women just hanging out and stuff, posted up. So maybe it's about 1:45, so I want to leave in time enough to get over to the club, because at a certain point in time, a lot of times they would barricade the entrances from coming in due to the large crowd, people out there hanging out in the parking lot. So I leave and stuff a little early. Now, my cousin Chris Booty, he stayed on a street known as Dayton Street. Now, out there, they had a long street by the name of Colfax, and the streets were alphabetically labeled. So 2 streets would, it would be 2 streets that would start with A, then B, then C, and so on and so forth.
That's true. That's how the streets is in Aurora, Colorado. Like, they go from alphabetical order. It's like you got, I think it's Akron, Alton, Beeler, Chester, and like so forth, right? Like, it go from A all the way down to Z. And that's how it is in Park Hill too. You got Ash, Belair, Cherry, and then like from A all the way down to Z down there too. And then on the east side, the streets, they're like all, you feel me, mixed up.
So my cousin Chris, he stayed kind of like in this seedy area on Dayton Street, across from these apartments. A lot of people would refer to these apartments as the Carter Apartments, because they resembled the Carter Apartments in that movie New Jack City, which had recently came out. My cousin James, which is Chris's brother, he stayed a few streets over on Geneva Street. And so I leave, I go back towards Montbello. So now I stop at 7-Eleven to run in there and get me a Slurpee or whatever. Now, as I'm coming out three dudes who look like they gang banging or whatever. They're pulling up, and one of them say, "Hey, homie, hey." They see me going to the green car. They say, "Hey, homie, hey, let me holler at you." I already know what type of time these dudes on. I said, "No, man, I'm on a mission, Lope. I'll get at you later." I hop in the car and I go on the run. I sent for my homie OZ. I sent him a bus ticket and enough money to get some work, and he come up there on the bus with about 18 ounces. And so I'm selling a little work out there, but I end up sending the work on to Montana because out there I believe an ounce was going for somewhere around 800 or 1,000. And at that time in Montana, I could get double that. So anyway, like I say, now I'm leaving this 7-Eleven. These dudes is trying to flag me down, but I push past that. I see they on some, they on some nonsense. I don't know what they trying to do. So now from that particular 7-Eleven, the club is maybe about 10 minutes away. So I drive down the street, I'm going towards the club now. So now as I'm entering Montbello, the club happens to be on the left-hand side. So now I'm going down, it's like a 4-lane street, and you actually have to you have to pass the club up like maybe 2 or 3 blocks and then make a U-turn and come back to the club on the other side of the street. Now it's like a 4-lane street. The first 2 lanes, the first 2 left-handed lanes, you can make U-turns. The second or the next 2 lanes, you're supposed to go straight, right? So like I say, I got a little time to spare, so I'm driving, I'm taking my time. Now, as I get to the light, I'm in the 2nd lane. The 3rd lane is empty. And then, no, excuse me, I'm in the 2nd lane. The 3rd lane is a van. And then the right lane, I believe all of a sudden I see a car pull up. I believe I see those dudes who I just seen at the 7-Eleven, so they over there, they looking at me and stuff or whatever. So, but they going straight, like they going up towards Montbello. I'm busting a U back toward the club. So when the light turned green, I go ahead, I make my U-turn. They let the van in between us go, and then they bust a U-turn, which was an illegal U, because they was, by the way the lanes is designated, they were supposed to go straight. So now, of course, my head is on the swivel. So now I'm driving back. I'm trying to get to the club, but either I didn't got there too late or something didn't happen because it's a gang of police out there and they got it barricaded. So now I can't go in. So now I'm driving, I'm looking in the mirror, paying attention to the car that's behind me. And now that car is flying. That car is coming real fast, right? Like right up behind me. So I get over to let the car go by. As the car is passing, all of a sudden at my back window, I hear blah. I'm like, damn, what the hell is going on, right? I'm like, damn. So now the Toyota that I'm in, it's a stick shift. So like I say, I'm going fast. So when I hear the blow at the back window, I hit the brakes. So now all of a sudden I try to bust another U-turn. I'm not paying attention. It's a car coming the same way. Pow! We crash right into the car. I'm like, damn, but I look at that stuff later on. So I get up out of here because these dudes done shot at me or whatever, right?
I don't know, cuz probably like, boy, these niggas out here getting active. These niggas just followed me from the 7-Eleven. Nigga hit the U-turn and busted on me. Cause you heard him, he said, all he heard was at the back window. So at that moment, he thinking like, you feel me, niggas got off on him. And then he said he ain't had a thing, right? Because he was on a run. And then you gotta think about it, coming from California to Denver, he probably thought it wasn't cracking like that.
And like I say now, I'm familiar with all this violence and stuff going on out here in Denver. I ain't got no strap. I'm trying to get up out of there. Oh, so let me say this too. When the back window go off, blow, and we hit the car and we crash, right? So the car stopped. All of a sudden, a dude in the front seat of that other car, he jumps out the car. He starts walking toward me. I'm thinking like, damn, is this the way I'm supposed to go out? I'm like, man, shit is getting crucial. So the dude was maybe about 10 or 15 feet up. He's coming back toward me, just one dude out the car. All of a sudden, he turns back around. I don't know if they called him or whatever, all of a sudden he turns back around and starts heading back towards his car. And so that's all of a sudden when I made that U-turn and turn and crash into the other car. But I like, it's whatever. I check out the damage later on. So I go back up the way I came. I bust that U-turn again. Like I say, it's a bunch of police cars out there. So I go down a few feet to where I can finally pull over up under the light, right? And see the damages on the car and all that old type of stuff. See they done shot the car and all this stuff. So now I get out the car. I walk back to the window. My window ain't broke. it's like some wet stuff on my window. So I wipe my hand on it. I said, damn, what the hell is this? I smell it. I guess they had threw a beer bottle at the car. Man, my heart is beating like doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. My heart is still beating fast though. I'm like, man.
These niggas rolled by and threw a beer bottle at the back window. It must have been a glass bottle. I'm like, they must have threw it and it must have broke or something, because the way he sounded, I don't know, it might have been a tall can, shit, something. Whatever it was, my nigga, I'd have been nervous too hearing something hit the window like that, shit. Cause I'm gonna keep it real. I done been grazed like 7 different times, right? So if I hear a pin drop, my nigga, I'm getting down, nigga, reaching for the thing.
You know, them dudes damn near, excuse me, I'm thinking like, damn, you know, I'm thinking the dudes at first had shot up in the car, my heart beating, you know. So I go to the house, I tell myself, man, that's it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just to go get a gun. I don't care. You know, they just gonna have to catch me with the gun, you know, because at that time, Denver was still one of them states where as long as you had a Denver ID or a driver's license, you could purchase a gun right over the counter. There was no waiting period. So one of my cousins took me down the next day and I got me a gun. You know, I said, yeah, I got to get strapped, man. It is what it is. You know, if I get caught with the gun, I just get caught with the gun. I ain't tripping. You know, that situation right there had my heart beating. So maybe about 2 days later, I'm driving around. And like I said, you know, it's summertime. My car is nice. I'm young, you know, I got a couple big chains on my neck, you know. So I used to like to ride around by certain little spots, swimming pools or whatever, you know, where these parks where these girls be hanging out, you know, and you know, holler at these females. So now one day I'm out, you know, I'm out solo bolo, you know, and the homie OZ, he used to cruise with me some, but he didn't like cruising with me a lot. And I'll tell y'all why in my next video, right? But so one day I'm out there, I'm cruising solo bolo, right? I pull up in a 7-Eleven. All of a sudden, a brown car come pulling up behind me. It was a bucket. I don't remember which, but I pull up in 7-Eleven. A brown car come flying up in there, like block me in. But now, unfortunately for them, I got the thing with me, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't tripping. So soon as the car slide up behind me, plus, you know, my head is always on the swivel. Soon as the car slide up behind me, I open the door, I jump out. I got the thing pointed. I run back there. I got the gun like pointed like in their head facial area. But to my surprise, it's a girl in the car. She like, oh, what you doing? What you doing? I said, what you doing? You about to get you a new hairdo. Talking about, yeah, I'm to put a few shots up in your head, rearrange your wig piece. Sliding up on me like that. You don't know I'm out here. I'm nervous, you know. I'm on the run. You know, I'm thinking people trying to jack me. She said, oh, no. She said, I had seen you drive past the swimming pool about 2 weeks ago. I've been trying to catch you. I want to talk to you. You know, I'm seeing you again. I wanted to get at you. So me and her started talking, man. Her name is Niecy Bell. She was a dark-skinned chocolate girl, man. So if anybody out there happen to know Niecy Bell out there in Aurora, who lived out in Aurora, you know what? Tell her I said hi, man. Hey, so yeah, we started talking. If I'm not mistaken, you would go up a street by the name of Florida, and she lived in some apartments, right? But anyway, you know, so this is how I meet Niecy and stuff like that, right? But Niecy, like I say, damn near got put in the coffin running up on the back of my car like that.
Tell them no, cuz, straight up, like all this stuff going on, you gotta have your head on a swivel. Shit, he probably thinking like, man, these niggas out here gang banging shit. Niggas out here getting busted on, took off on at clubs. They throwing beer bottles out the back of windows, all type of crazy stuff. So his first thoughts was, it's either me or you. You gonna give her a shout out and then say she damn near got put in a coffin. And then what, this is 93? You gotta think about it, man. This is probably somebody's mama out here.
So maybe about a week or two later, I'm leaving my cousin. Man, my cousin sells weed, right? It's me and the homie OZ. Now I've been knowing OZ probably since I was about 5-6 years old, you know. My dad and his grandfather was extremely good friends. My mom and his mom is great friends still to this day. OZ, unfortunately, man, he got killed at a house party, I believe somewhere in 1998, 99, somewhere, but I'll speak about that later, man. But so OZ stayed back and forth between Banning and San Bernardino. He had some family who had some ties to Watts, and they was bounty hunter bloods. And so this is what OZ was claiming, man. But regardless of him, you know, claiming to be a blood, this is my dog. You know, we've been good friends. Actually, OZ was the second dude that I took to Montana with me. So Anyway, me and OZ is out there, we on the run. We wanted for these attempted murders or whatever. And so we going to my cousin James's house. So we happen to be leaving, right? And there's a dude coming over, I guess somebody that my cousin James knew, black dude, maybe about 5'9", 5'10", about 155 pounds, kind of slender like myself, And he says, hey, blood, one of y'all got a light for my biggerette? Now, like I say, my homie OZ, he's a blood. Now, during those times, I would be dressed like in athletic looking stuff, Nike shorts with a shirt, some basketball shoes, Nike shoes, like I'm going to play basketball, which I did a lot. I played a lot of basketball, but now I got these big old gold chains on my neck though. So when he said, hey, blood, one of y'all got a light for my biggerette, or whatever he said along those lines, but he definitely said biggerette. OZ, my homie OZ, he like, hey, yeah, what's up? I got one for you right here. So OZ go in his pocket, get a dude a light. Dude like, oh yeah, thanks, blood. Him and OZ is talking for a minute or whatever. I'm just sitting off to the side, So the dude say, hey, blood, where you from? He talking to me, right? I tell him, hey, homie, I ain't no blood. He said, but where you from, no blood? And so now I'm doing this. Now I'm kind of like being sarcastic, like, I know you ain't talking to me. He like, yeah, homie, where you from? I tell him I'm from Two Piece Gangsters. He said, what? I said, I'm from Two Piece Gangsters. He like, man, what is that? Beep, boop, bop, boop, bop. I hop on him, give him a cold 3-piece though. He fall up against he was going I guess he's going to my cousin James's house maybe to buy some weed or whatever. So he's right there. We're coming off the porch. He's right there by the door, like where you open the door, but he's a little to the right. So now, when you open that screen door, he's in that little crack, that area right there. So like I say, I give him that 3-piece. Bing, 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 bing. Get up on him real tough. All of a sudden, he go to swimming like Michael Phelps. I step back, I'm on him. Bing, 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 bing. I'm on him. Lefts and rights with all my might. You know what I'm saying?
That's on him. Like when you approach somebody, especially saying where you from, blood or cuz, you should already know what's liable to happen or what can happen when you approach somebody who you don't know like that. You feel me? And then he said it twice to him. And then he tell you he's from Two Piece Gangsters. And then give him a 3-piece, right? Like, cuz. And then he said he got to swimming like Michael Phelps. Hey, man. Who from Park Hill can confirm this story? Look, I know it was probably just dude there, but I'm just saying, like, 93, cuz got to be an OG down here now. So anybody from Park Hill watching this, man, y'all got to send this to y'all's OGs, homie. And we got to see who was doing this, man. He said he got I hate when niggas fight like that, though. Like, you take off on a nigga and then get the windmilling. Straight up.
So now, as he's up against the screen door, all he's doing is swimming, throwing wild punches. I'm on him. Bang, bang, boom, bang, boom, boom, bam. I'm on him. Now, at some point, he go to hollering, get him, get him, get him. Like my homie OZ is on his side. I don't know if he thought because both of them was bloods or had blood affiliations or whatever, he was going to help him. But I don't know if y'all also be paying attention to my stories way back when I first started telling them. I would say from time to time when I would fight, I had a move where I would reach down and grab the back of somebody's ankle and snatch their leg up in the air. And so that's what I did to him. I pulled his leg up in the air. Now I got his leg. Now I'm pulling him off the porch, pulling him into the front yard a little bit. So once I get him off the porch a little bit, I swoop his other leg, I kick his other leg up from under him, and he fall on his back. Bam! And once he fall on his back, I'm on him. Boom, bam, boom, boom. Now I'm just dogging him, kicking him and stuff. All of a sudden, he go to hollering again, get him, get him, get him. So now the homie OZ, he like, hey, chill, come on, that's enough, chill, that's enough, that's enough. Because like I said, now he know, I'm strapped. I got this gun on me. It's the middle of daytime, and both of us is on the run for these attempted murders or whatever. So
Hey, get him. Hey, man, we have to confirm this story. I ain't saying he lying because the streets and like everything he was saying was on point. Like damn near everything was accurate. So I'm gonna keep it real with you. Like I can't even say that this is a lie, but this story right here is funny as fuck, homie. I just gotta keep it real with you, man. And I don't really think he trying to talk about the city or nothing like that, but I feel like he was just telling his little story. He said, cuz got the windmill and talking about getting him and all type. Cuz, that shit crazy, man. That shit funny though. But look, the moral of the story is it ain't about where you from, it's where you at. Because he from Cali, but he came out here to Denver and seen that niggas was really out here gang banging shit. It was active, you feel me? Niggas out here, it's Crips out here, it's Bloods out here, all type of stuff, man. That's what I was trying to tell niggas, like, this shit been going on since the mid-'80s, homie. All the way until now. Like, this shit been cracking.
Hey bitch, I'm from the east side. If you ain't got your burner on the turf, cuz you can't slide. 30 gang this, 30 gang that. I dropped a 9 in the pot, you know I broke it back. Hey bitch, I'm from the east side. If you ain't got your burner on the turf, cuz you can't slide. 30 gang this, 30 gang that. I dropped a 9 in the pot, you know I broke it back.